Hello, so we have the movie Udta Punjab having finally been certified. There's been one cut that the court has asked for and a change in the disclaimer. So I have two of my colleagues here who are avid film watchers and watchers of the censor board. So Anushri Majumdar and Amrita Datta. So Anushri, what is it that you find most striking about this episode, or rather several days of angst and trouble over Udta Punjab?
I think it's a waste of time, personally. I mean, and when I say that, I mean it shouldn't have actually come to this. This matter shouldn't have gone to the court. This matter should have been sorted out. I don't know. First of all, there shouldn't be 89 cuts to a film about drug menace in Punjab, and the kind of objections that the CBFC raised and the kind of cuts they demanded are unrealistic in a movie that wants to depict drug menace realistically. So
you were talking about a little while ago about it shouldn't have come to this 20 years after Fire, after a series of movies. So take me through what you think has been a history that should have alerted us to what was happening and spent less time worrying about this.
I think our movies and our collective sense of morality have been running parallel for quite a few years now. 20 years ago when Fire came out, just the fact that two women could be in love with each other was a problem. Later on, Panch also. Anurag Kahsyap is not new to this issue. Panch never got released. Black Friday never got released. Why are we so afraid of Udta Punjab? Why are we so afraid of movies that show us what we already know from our newspapers, from our own lives, is basically what I'm talking about. And the kind of cuts especially, they just don't make sense. Anybody who's living in the places that these movies are about, I mean, are we out to make Udta Punjab, or are we out to make Disney's version of Udta Punjab?
Which is a very good point. Amrita, there is this whole problem which I find of greatest concern, that what's being censored is a reality being put out or portrayed in the film. One can understand if they show fantastic things which are completely outlandish, or Shaktiman, which is prompting kids to copy that and all that. But is it disturbing that vignettes of reality or life around us drew attention?
I think the problem is that there is this kind of intent to control a filmmaker's creativity, whether somebody wants to show an outlandish film or a realistic film. I think the original purpose of CBFC is to certify, it is not to censor. But with this current censor board, we have gone back to the point where the intent or the is again on censorship, is on holding filmmakers back. And let's not make, I think Udta Punjab, and given Anurag Kashyap's track record, is a political film. It will be a political film. And to say that, that there is no design, Pehlaj Nehlani, who is sort of self-certified chamcha of Modi, to say that I am, I'm going to cut this down, I think it's a little naive to say that there is no politics involved. And I think we must remember that the act under which films are being censored or certified dates back to colonial time, when the idea was to control. The idea was to control what natives should watch, and I think that infantilization of the public continues. The censor board does not want us to be political, or does not want us to see things which are political or which are sort of unpalatable, and I think this is part of that process.
Yeah, we've also had cases of books being kind of put out or being withdrawn by publishers, citing laws or citing the fact that they will cause a certain kind of disharmony. Yeah, so is there an attempt now to pretend that politics doesn't matter, which in itself is a political act? Yeah. So is there an attempt to sort of decaffeinate public life or our life, or things like cinema where it's politics, song and dance, everything combines?
On the one hand, you cannot have art forms like you cannot have literature in cinema and then have a leash around them and be like, oh, this is all you can say or all you can do. The entire idea of a creative product or the imagination, all of those things are to do with our engagement with reality and the worlds around us, or even imaginary worlds. So when this sort of censoring or censorship comes into play, it's very I feel like it's very presumptuous of a higher body of a body that's been elected to power to do this. It's some sort of dictatorship.
I think it's also pushing filmmakers towards censorship, writers towards censorship, because I mean, and this is not, of course, let's not say this is the current government. I wouldn't say, because this has been happening. This has been happening before. You know, objections to certain words, say teli, or there have been you know, this entire sort of communities objecting or having a veto over creative rights. I think that's the larger question, and that comes up. And I think we should stop. I think the CBFC should stop playing nannies to the cinema audience. It's not its business.
No, I mean, this is a tricky thing, because on the one hand we talk about the, you know, the internet world where everything is free, we can upload what we want, etc., etc. But is there a problem here in this kind of a very complex society we live in? Can you actually have this idea of complete freedom? So where is that grey kind of area? You know, how are you going to negotiate that middle ground?
Definitely not by asking for 89 cuts and saying that a film based in Punjab cannot be called Udta Punjab. I think.
So that definitely shows us what you cannot do.
But what cannot?
Okay, are there things that can be done too? I mean, I know you bat for.
I don't think there is any possibility of nuance left in what this, you know, after what the CBFC has gone.
Yeah, this is more nuclear than nuance. But what's your take? Is it possible to find a Goldilocks kind of a medium where we do the right kind of cuts?
I'm actually, honestly, personally, I feel that in the age of the internet, it's all out there, and I mean, the kind of access that...
You're not for a child lock.
I'm not for a child lock. I mean, there are questions that everybody wants to, at whatever age, wants to ask, and whether it's parents or whether it's, you know, other bodies of authority and all of that. The entire idea is engagement. I mean, I want tough questions to be asked. I want them answered to the best of their ability. And especially when it comes to a movie like Udta Punjab, I mean, I'm paying $400 at a multiplex to watch this. If I wasn't paying $400, maybe I'd be paying $120 at a single screen thing. As somebody who likes movies, as somebody who watches a lot of you know, we all watch Hollywood, and when we watch a Hollywood film, we're like, yeah, wow, yeah, this was great, it was so real. We want realism in our movies, but we're not willing to
walk that mile.
Yeah, I mean, as a censorship, as the CBFC or as an industry in general, we want realism, but we don't want a certain kind of realism. We're treating realism with kid gloves, and then we'll say, oh, why don't we have enough movies to send to the Oscars or something like that, which I find ludicrous.
Yeah, so I think these are tough questions, and thank you, Amrita and Anushri, for joining us in exploring how high Udta Punjab can fly. Thanks.